Everything was perfect before Bella arrived at the farmhouse. She took you away from me, destroyed our family. You'll never fully comprehend how much I hate her and hate the fact that I could never find her again. Until now. The woman, the voice earlier. She's Bella, isn't she?
No.
I know when you're lying, Gabrielle. You see, there's a protectiveness about the way you speak to her. Brought back memories of how you were with her at the farmhouse. What's her new name now? Lacey?
I will take your life if you ever...
You don't get to make the threats anymore. I've evaded the police for 20 years. They can't catch me. So, here's a promise. If you ever end us, if you ever let me go, or if you ever try to turn me in, the first thing I'll do is end Lacey's life. That's a promise.
Hi, Mark Paul.
All right, but how are you guys doing?
Fantastic. How are you?
I am real good. First of all, I just want to get this out the way and say I'm a huge fan of both of you, have been for years. Mark Paul, you already know I grew up with you on Saved by the Bell. You already know that I grew up, I midway grew up with you on Shameless, but I love both of you.
Oh, thank you.
Then the first question is actually for both of you. What made you guys want to tackle your roles in this show?
I was unemployed, so I really needed a job. Why are you laughing? It's the truth. I wasn't working at the time.
Right.
I really wasn't. And this script was one of the best. Usually during pilot season, there's like a handful of scripts that you see and you're like, ooh, that's a good one. And then they wait, right? They sort of like wait to see where all the talent goes. And you're like just hoping that, you guys either get a call or you get a chance to go in and meet with, the producers. And this was one of those. This was one of those that we had our eye on. And when we got that call from NKG, it was like, yes, we're doing it.
Yeah, well, it's funny because it was a journey here, getting here for me, because I had an overall deal with NBC, and so I get to read a lot of scripts, and we tried a couple of things, two things that really just didn't work for several reasons, and then the three is a charm. I met with NK to direct on one of her other shows. I don't know if you know, but our showrunner is a beast. She is running an empire. She has 3 shows on the air right now. And so I was meeting to direct on All American, one of her shows. And as a director, hustling. And then I guess during that time, she realized that I was her daddy. And she had the script going to NBC. NBC sent it to me. I read it. I said, oh, she's bad. And she's got a little bit of going on. That's the role I need to play.
Yeah. Definitely. This show is the bomb. We coined it the best new series. So I got to congratulate you guys for season 2.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. And then, Mark Paul, this is such a dark role for you and for any actor, honestly. So have you had any difficulties playing this role? Is there anything that you have to do before to prepare?
No, not really. I mean, I always do research for roles that I do, and this one was no different. So when I spoke with NKG about, the character and sort of, if she could give me any backstory with Sir, we discussed a little bit. There wasn't a lot of, with television, we sort of get the scripts the week before, and that kind of informs you a little bit about what's going to happen in the future. But she did say, if you want to look into, the mindset of Sir and sort of the makeup of Sir, watch documentaries of Ted Bundy. So that was sort of the foundation that I had to work off of, was this guy who was charming, and would disarm, his victims basically with the way he looked. He did not look like a typical guy that was the monster that he was. And that's who NK used as an example. So, thankfully there's a lot of documentaries out there to watch, and then I got a sense of who I was.
Oh, yeah.
A couple times and say I don't try. I tried. Now there's nowhere left to hide. Now it's done. I'm undone. Everything I've become. Let me show you my darkness. Start, yeah. I'm the joker, I'm the devil, I'm a demon, I'm a rebel. I've gone.
Principal Chloe, you replaced Ben after you graduated this year.
It wasn't the same with Chloe drawing from the same metal, but
I'm the devil, I'm a demon, I'm a rebel. I've gone mad. Don't try to understand. Now I fight with dirty hands.
how dare you abandon me as if I am of no consequence?
You were my teacher. I trusted you. Parents trusted you.
Why are we rehashing the past?
Because all this time I thought I was just one unlucky student. One kid with a bright future, not enough parental supervision that you took advantage of. But you took Annie from the school too. The woman with the red bow, that was Annie. She came back. She came back. I will find where you buried Annie, and you will pay for all the pain you caused. Annie is the last chapter in this sick saga. Once I solve it, it's over. You hear me? Over.
Except you won't, because I didn't kill her.
You can't manipulate me with your lies anymore. Annie didn't just save herself. She came back to that hell months later because she knew you would strike again. She came back to save your next victim, and it cost her life. And for that, I will make you pay.
Don't try to understand. I'm the joker, I'm the devil, I'm a demon, I'm a rebel. I've gone mad. Don't try to understand. Now I fight with dirty hands.
And to let you know, you guys have an amazing cast besides you two. Talk a little bit about working with them.
Working with the rest of the cast or working with Mark Paul? Which one do you want?
You can give me both, but let's start with the cast.
Working with Mark Paul sucks. So that's it on that. That is the period on that. Okay. Now let's talk about the rest of the cast. They are amazing. No, Mark Paul has become actually a very dear friend, which is hard to come into my circle in that way, because of who he is as a person and as a father. And as an actor, he's one of the best partners I've ever worked with. Kelly Williams, she is the legend, honey. She has come back to your television screens, and she is serving the people on NBCFOUND. You know, she's been in this business a long time. She's no stranger. She is everything you want in an actor, everything you would expect in a legend. And she breaks your heart on a weekly basis as Margaret. I am such a big fan of hers.
Ew.
My boy Karan Oberoi, who plays Don, which is the most honest to me, he's a big goofball in real life. So when you see him being the muscle on screen, it's actually a joke. He is so darn good. If you look at him, Karan has such a deep way of delivering. He has such depth in his acting, and he is just one of the finest human beings. And then you have the sweet, the lovely, the fantastic, who has a story of her own, Gabrielle Walsh, who plays Lacey, and who can play a grown woman and still have that vulnerability and those eyes that I call them the deer-like eyes that suck you in every time, that you feel for, that you see your little sister in, that you see your daughter in, that you see your little niece in, but Gabrielle Walsh. And of course you have Arlen. Arlen has the hardest job on the set. Not only is he just a top tier human being, he has to act in that room that he's in. So the solitude that Zeke has, Arlen also has it, and he does it beautifully. He's able to engage and interact and to really be a part of the team without being there to go. That's a hard job for an actor. It's like really acting with the screen. Although we do everything in real time, our set, I'm happy to say, is very technologically advanced, and we are on the screen shooting that, but Arlen is just one of the finest. So I get to work mostly in associates group, some of the finest actors, but most importantly, the finest human beings. It's a pleasure to go to work because I love them so much, and I'm so glad I get to do it again for season 2. For 22 episodes, you better like the people, honey.
There you go. The chemistry definitely comes across on screen. And then before we wrap, Mark Paul, you got to tell everybody who don't already know why they need to be tuned into Found every Tuesday on NBC.
Well, why I would tune in is because of the force that you're looking at on the other screen. Shanola was born to play this character. There are similarities between her and Gabrielle. She is, I mean, you can see she is like a mother to all of us. And it's just, I've never worked with anybody quite like her. She's a real deal. She's a producer on the show. I've worked with other producer actors, and it's just a title. And I think I said that to you like early on. I was like, oh, look at that title that you have. I was testing you a little bit. She's the real deal. I mean, she cares about every single person on the set. I say if there's one reason you should watch the show is because of this beautiful human being and her performance that she gives us every single week.
She's so sweet. That was my Christmas gift, honey.
Well, thank you too. Again, I'm a huge fan. I love the show. I love you guys. Can't wait to see what you guys do next on top of season 2. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.